We're all like 1 millisecond away from being John the Baptist.
Welcome to Miss Mojo, and today we're looking at outspoken talk show hosts who changed their stance over time. The host had to have changed his or her core belief about an issue, rather than any organization that parted from their perspective.
Just tell us the truth. Stop lying and start remembering.
Johnny Carson on smoking.
I think that would be a cheap shot to take, and to still do jokes about it. So I immediately ceased doing jokes about that because it was really unfair.
The king of late night may have modernized the talk show format, but one aspect of The Tonight Show was an unfortunate product of the 60s. Johnny Carson regularly smoked on air until widespread reports of the health risks inspired the Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act of 1970.
Who's had the greatest influence on your career? Your entire life?
On my career?
Yeah.
MGM. No.
No, I would imagine so.
The Tonight Show was coincidentally the last American TV program to feature a cigarette commercial. Carson quit smoking on camera, but privately maintained the habit until his death from emphysema in 2005. CBS then resurfaced a 1979 60 Minutes interview with previously unaired material, including Carson expressing remorse about smoking. Though the vice got the better of him, he realized public figures' responsibility to turn impressionable viewers away from it.
You know how long I've had this cigarette box on this desk?
You brought that up from New York City?
I brought this from New York. What on earth?
It happened last night.
Who?
Don Rickles.
I did not see the
Don
show
Rickles
last
did it last night.
Jimmy Fallon on political commentary.
Well, guys, President Trump just wrapped up his 3-day trip to the UK, and he
looked incredibly handsome.
Amid growing partisanism on late night, Jimmy Fallon carried his fluffy neutrality into The Tonight Show. The most confrontational he got in interviews with 2016 POTUS candidates was playfully tousling Donald Trump's iconic hair. In a 2017 interview with New York Times, Fallon expressed regret for not asking more hardball questions. But as Trump publicly rejected this apology and began feuding with talk show hosts, The Tonight Show became more open to political jabs.
What were you saying about Elon just last Wednesday?
It was totally brilliant.
Yeah, and how about Thursday?
He's dumb as a rock.
By the time ABC briefly suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live under government pressure in 2025, Fallon spoofed a crackdown on free speech. He maintains his moderate brand by poking fun at all sides, but he and his writers are gradually recognizing how some politicizing is necessary.
But to be honest with you all, I don't know what's going on, and no one does, but I do know Jimmy Kimmel, and he's a decent, funny, and loving guy, and I hope he comes back.
Bill Maher on Donald Trump, temporarily.
He used the word lost, and I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public.
Contrary to recent allegations, Bill Maher has always held firm in his liberal beliefs. Though HBO's Real Time has grown more critical of illiberal progressivism, its host was always harshest about Donald Trump's first term in the White House. At the start of the second term, Maher shocked everyone when he revealed that Trump invited him to a dinner where he was gracious and attentive to the concerns of his guest.
I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy.
Maher was relieved to find that the president was more moderate in private, but still strongly disagreed with his policies. Nonetheless, Maher faced more backlash than usual for humoring his political opponent. As Trump's second term soon displayed authoritarian activity, Real Time became more critical than ever.
So, Trump is in his, we caught you with your taillight out phase of justice. They will find something to pull you over for.
Conan O'Brien on Jay Leno. Friendly terms between Jay Leno and late-night host David Letterman collapsed after the former's controversial promotion to The Tonight Show desk.
I know for myself, there's a rather large color shot.
Large color picture, is it? Well, show them the picture.
Well, I'm not the kind of guy to brag,
yeah, right.
certainly, but I guess they decide who gets the big picture.
Yeah.
Letterman's own successor, Conan O'Brien, had a falling out that was overshadowed by the politics of him replacing Leno in 2009. Due to poor reviews and ratings for The Jay Leno Show, NBC planned to move both it and The Tonight Show to later time slots. O'Brien was so outraged that he quit the network, but Leno readily took his show back.
We didn't have that much in common.
Right.
We're quite different fellows, he and I. I don't know why I suddenly reverted to 19th century diction.
The disillusioned O'Brien to a comedian he once admired. Though their feud is arguably less historic than the one with Letterman, O'Brien still believes Leno sold out his creative integrity and a colleague for the sake of business.
What was the relationship like with Jay before this?
Occasional phone call and...
Did you feel a kinship, a camaraderie?
It's a busy world.
Oprah Winfrey on Personal Stories.
I'm Oprah Winfrey, and that's what we're talking about today. Best friends. You know, that one person in your life that knows all the secret details.
Most assume that this journalist, who became one of America's most powerful philanthropists, has always believed in helping people open up. In fact, Oprah Winfrey favored light special interest stories while hosting shows in Baltimore and Chicago.
I want to talk about, because all four of these people are friends, what happens when other friends enter into the picture? Because, certainly, Lori isn't the only friend that you have.
Her nationally syndicated talk show debuted in 1986 with similarly soft pop psychology. But before trash TV sensationalized people's lifestyles and anguish, there opened a market for true empathy. 2 months into its first season, The Oprah Winfrey Show interviewed survivors and perpetrators of sexual abuse. Winfrey then built a media empire on sitting down with both ordinary people and public figures to humanely discuss difficult subjects. She showed that shining a light on humanity can be especially lucrative when done tastefully.
What is surprising to me is the number of people who could and did reach out and say, I've also been living this secret.
Megyn Kelly on Personal Pronouns.
These are kids who were sort of raised as boys and then identified as girls and have decided to embrace that, and they are transgender girls.
As trans discourse went mainstream during the 2010s, Megyn Kelly was something of an outlier among conservative commentators. She gave trans people, including minors, a platform with respect to their dignity and personal pronouns. She even clashed with Republican politicians in interviews about their anti-LGBTQ policies.
Why are you concerned about, young girls exposing themselves or seeing somebody else exposed in a woman's bathroom?
But in 2023, Kelly announced on her podcast that she would no longer defer to personal pronouns. She believes that with the current climate, strict credence on trans issues distracted from women's rights and promoted potentially unnecessary gender-affirming treatment for youth. The move was praised by many conservative commentators and condemned as transphobic by critics. Whether she was right in her decision, Kelly feels that there is a point of having too much empathy.
I will speak to a trans person kindly and with empathy. In their presence, I will likely try to avoid pronouns altogether, as I have no wish to intentionally provoke or upset anyone.
Tucker Carlson on policy.
It's infuriating. In fact, it's worse than infuriating. It's immoral. And the people who let this happen should be punished, the Americans who let it happen.
Political commentator Tucker Carlson started as a voice for neoconservatism on CNN and MSNBC. He was a particularly prominent proponent for the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003. A year later, he became disillusioned with the war. Carlson's move to Fox News in 2009 saw a drift toward protectionist ideologies that were popularized under Donald Trump's presidency. Tucker Carlson tonight became a preeminent apologist for Trumpism.
A very good thing for the world. That's a big claim, but in this case, it is not an overstatement. For the past 5 days, all of us have had, if nothing else, a chance to ruminate on what war with Iran would mean for us here in the United States.
However, a defamation suit against Fox News published text messages that suggested Carlson's dismay over the president. The network then fired its biggest personality, who has become more scrutinizing of Trump on his podcast. Whatever his actual beliefs are, Carlson is certainly a complicated figure in conservative media.
That was 2007, 13 years ago. It was good advice then. We should have taken it. It's not too late. Let's do it now.
Piers Morgan on Israel-Palestine conflict.
I do think in this particular occasion,
they were extremely precise, and it was a brilliant piece of warfare, right, if you want to call it that.
As one of the UK's leading conservative commentators, Piers Morgan's civility in discourse has varied through the years. He was still generally convicted in his beliefs, but circumstances changed after the October 7th attacks of 2023 sparked the Gaza war. Morgan defended the Israeli government's military actions to weed out Hamas, particularly against Mehdi Hassan's argument that this was a pretext to invade Palestine.
But you always make it sound like they're just doing this for the sake of it. They're not.
What are they doing it for?
Well, they've been provoked by Hezbollah.
Hezbollah didn't exist in 1978, Piers.
Okay, I'm talking about the specifics of going on now.
In May of 2025, Morgan formally conceded to Hassan on the air. He had gradually become disillusioned with the war crimes and perceived genocidal activities perpetuated by Israel. Morgan seems to still argue for immediate peace between Israel and Palestine, but his exact sympathies have taken an unexpected turn.
I think there's a lot of uprisings now of people saying enough, because they can see there's no end game. No one really on the Israeli government side has explained what is going to happen when this war ends.
Jerry Springer on his own show.
This was the first time we saw on a regular basis people on television that were different, that didn't speak the King's English.
What's your new ring?
You know, that perhaps didn't luck out in the gene pool of parents.
By the mid-1990s, the Jerry Springer Show became a salacious platform for alternative lifestyles and personal conflicts. The host, previously a hard-hitting journalist, lawyer, and politician, long defended the legitimacy of what was considered the peak of trash TV.
So when we see people that aren't doing so well or don't speak as well as we do or use the F word and all that kind of stuff, they're not less than us. They want to be happy just like we do.
Jerry Springer believed he democratically exposed Americans to underrepresented sections of society. At worst, he dismissed it as silly entertainment. But in an interview with The Independent 4 years after the end of the show, Springer remorsefully claimed he ruined culture. He passed away 3 months after joking that he'll have to answer for this in the afterlife. Springer leaves behind a complicated legacy, but even he felt that his representation of issues was more exploitative than societally helpful.
So how did you guys get to be living into her place? Because you guys live with her now, right?
Stay. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Dennis Miller on conservatism.
Now here with an opposing viewpoint is me. Yeah, well, thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
After Saturday Night Live, Dennis Miller pioneered late-night talk shows with intellectual yet crass political comedy. He claimed to not want to go on a rant, but frequently railed against the Republican establishment on liberal issues. Then, he changed his tune about President George W. Bush after 9/11. Miller's sudden alignment with neoconservatism landed him a short-lived show on CNBC and regular appearances on Fox News. He gradually evolved into one of American comedy's most prominent critics of the Democratic Party and progressive politics.
AOC at this point is making so little sense that the NPI, the National Punctuation Institute, has requested their hyphen back because she's diluting the brand too much.
Although he's always held some conservative beliefs, Miller acknowledges that his feelings about policy have dramatically changed with age. Whether fans appreciate such a rebrand, it takes a lot for personalities to embrace that natural process.
I'm a pretty humble man in real life, but I was really arrogant. I remember thinking, these people are not here to watch you shuffle your feet and pshaw your way through this.
Who are some other media personalities whose talk shows changed their talking points? Let's chat in the comments.